Hey there, you filthy buttholes, and welcome to Let's Torture Sheepdog. And this torture just looks massive. I'm not gonna fucking lie. Jesus Christ, there's just so much tits in my face right now. And like this girl here, like, she looks nice, you know, she looks pretty, but even her, like, those tits are giant. And then you got all these, I think, I honestly can't tell, but I think possibly these, or these are the biggest. So, I'm up in the stakes on this one, guys, alright? Not just because the thumbnail's clearly gonna be hella clickbait, but also because last time you guys exceeded my expectations way too fucking far. So, 250, 25. You got 24 hours to give me 250 views and 25 likes. If you don't do it, the series is over. And that will be the same for all of the episodes. Also, interesting enough, this isn't really working for me like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. And I'll just... Yeah, okay, that looks alright. There's a bit of a border, which I apologise about, but it wasn't liking the full screen, so we'll have to we'll have to live with it like this. Alright, so 250 views, 25 likes every single video. When you fail that, that is when the series will be over. Alright, let's do this shit. My name is Kenji Johnson. And not long ago I thought my life was crazy. Absolutely overflowing with insanity. Mate, I know the fucking feeling. It all started about 3 weeks ago when my parents had been killed in the fire that had destroyed my home and everything in it, leaving me alone and with no one to turn to. No one, that is, except for my maternal grandfather, Tensai Shiro. My mom has always described him as being a serious workaholic, and I hadn't seen him for a long while. But when I was alone and needed someone to help me get back on my feet, he was quick to come and bring me to the lab that functioned as his home and base of operations. A lab that he privately funded, a lab that he kept as secret as possible, refusing any outside involvement from the government or any corporations. A lab where he and a few others had built what was quite possibly the most spectacular device in the whole of human history. Are you going to say a lab again? The time window. Okay, no, we're good. A gateway. No, it's just going to be like a gateway. A gateway that reached into the past, allowing anyone to travel back in time. There was no denying that he had accomplished one of humanity's wildest weights. So, this guy's family died. Okay, you know what? Sure. Oh look, in the week since I had arrived at Tensai's lab, a lot had happened. Much of which I can't really explain because I don't think it even happened anymore. What is happening? I do remember that I made some good friends there. Rose, an English girl in this world, and a sword-wielding knight in times not our own. Kyo, a bubbly girl whose attitude made her seem like she was far younger than she actually was. And then there was Michelle, possibly an even greater expert on the time window than my grandfather, who for some reason is wearing... Why are you wearing that? Is that your teaching? And the woman who put me in a position where I had to make a choice. Okay, I could, like... You just spoiled the entire story. He has to go back and burn down his house and kill his parents because that woman, like, you have to make that choice because you're standing outside the fucking house and she's handing you a Molotov cocktail. What the fuck? Can you even storytelling? Oh, at first everything seemed calm and normal, or so I thought. Yeah, no, lots of big titty women are out about the place, is fine. But I was wrong. A power surge caused the time window to bust open. Get it? Bust? Because tits? In a wave of light. Light that wrapped around Michelle and swallowed her up. The last thing remembered was a piercing scream. And a shockwave erupting from the time window, knocking everybody in the chamber unconscious. What's that under her eye? Is that a pill? like right there. After we came to, Michelle was gone. All of us mourned the loss of a friend. Yeah, it's this storytelling is the best. But as we consoled each other, the time window suddenly activated again, filling the room with light. And she was back, and no one cared. A different kind of light, and when we turned to face it, it dawned on me that we hadn't even begun to realise the scope of the chaotic realm of time travel. Well, are you guys ready or what? Everyone looked towards the time window, and my mind screamed that this was impossible. It's a time window! There's just no way I could be seeing the apparition standing in front of us. It was my mum. Caused me to have some really worrying feelings. It can't be. Impossible. Wah! It's a ghost. Wario. A ghost? Oh, ha ha. Very funny, Kyo. What's with you anyway? We need to get moving. Michelle? Michelle? Is that really... The woman who could only be Michelle laughed at this, before her chuckling faded a little as she frowned uncertainly and looked around at us. Ha! Good one. You're not joking, are you? The silence was deafening. What's going on here? Jesus, woman, what is going on here? Did you have boobs like that when you went in? Why are you all looking at me like that? And why did Kyo... Only my grandfather could respond to the apparition standing in the time window. Michelle, what is the last thing you'll remember? Is this some kind of joke, Gramps? Because I'm not... Then Michelle happened to glance down at herself. Oh no! My boobs are much bigger than they should be. This is going to cause me back problems for years to come. How? Michelle, please, stay focused. That's better. It's just an exclamation mark. Oh, I'm going to hate this. Now tell us what you can. What's the last thing you can remember? Well, Kenji, he'd just gotten back to the lab after we had Bunny and Mizuki patched in, and I was about to fire up the time window for the next experiment, and then I feel like something happened, and Rose, Kyo, Kenji, somebody, tell me what happened. Why do I look like... As Michelle frantically held out our arms to us, I thought about what to say. What was I supposed to say? But I didn't get the chance to speak. Just then, the time window room exploded in a cacophony of voices. There was a sudden power surge. The time window, it turned on by itself, and... We saw you explode, Michelle. We thought you were... I couldn't even get a word in as everyone's voices tumbled on top of each other. Like sex. And that's it. We thought... Michelle, what's happened to you? Why are your boobs now bigger than mine? This sucks. I don't know. Hang on, Rose. Look, I'm... Yeah! As Michelle tried to step off the time window's platform, a wall of energized blue sparked into existence and as lightning crackled around where her knee had struck. You know, this is Time Tenshi 2, which would imply that there's a Time Tenshi 1. I'm wondering if that's also worrying. What in the... Michelle cautiously reached out to the space outside the time window. Ack! I'm stuck. I can't get out. Oh no, her boobs are going to get giant too. I see. Rose, Kyo, we need to get to work finding out what precisely has happened here and what can be done about it. I'd like to get my wife in here so she can have giant lockers too. Kenji? Yeah? Could you go to the cafeteria and wait there, at least until I send for you? This is probably going to take a while, and well, I'm afraid that whatever has happened, you're not well equipped to help us figure out exactly what has gone on. I'm saying you have a tiny penis, and I want some time alone with these, giant-breasted women. I was tempted to protest at this, but I realized he was right. I did have a tiny penis. I realized that Tensei was right. There was literally nothing I could do to help Michelle. All I'd probably end up doing would be getting in everybody's way. Michelle? You just hang in there, okay? We'll figure this out. Wow. Some hot... You bet we will! It wasn't long before Rose stepped forward too. That's right, we've already done the impossible just by building the time window in the first place. I'm sure there's something we can do. Thank you. I really appreciate that, really. Thank you, Kenji. Now, please go. We need to get to work, and I suspect that we have a long day ahead of us. Once I got to the cafeteria, I didn't know what to do. Should I have the red gloop, the teal group, or the blue gloop? Blueberry muffin, pancake, or omelette? Are those sausages? Okay. I wasn't in the mood to eat, I didn't have anything to read, and I don't think I could have even begun to distract myself with a movie or video game. Possibly a visual novel, anyway. So in the end, all I could do was sit at one of the tables, watch as Michelle was pulled into the time window over and over in my mind, and wonder. What? What just happened? How did it happen? What the fuck is going on? Why is this the story of our game? Surely we could have come up with something better. While I knew from my personal experiences that the time window wasn't the safest of inventions, this incident, it didn't seem to fit with them, sure. Could it have just been a malfunction? There was that power surge, or maybe... Could Bunny and Mizuki have something to do with it? I thought of the other two time travelers that my friends had faced. Wait, they were two girls from the future, possibly centuries beyond our time. Strangely, all of the battles seemed to be highly sexual. Who knows what made that happen? Could it have been the giant breasts and fucking skimpy outfits? Possibly not. A future that had been decimated by plague, famine, and other natural disasters, and they were desperate to rewrite it for the better. You know, for two women from a future where there's been plague and famine, they look fine. And I don't mean like they look fine, I mean they look fine. And now, suddenly the door to... What the fuck is happening? Suddenly the door to the cafeteria slid open, snapping me out of my thoughts. Kenji, I just need a dick to suck. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a dick. Well, I do, but as you can see, it's woefully tiny. In an instant, I got up to my feet and was already making my way over to the small, cute girl who stood sobbing in the doorway. Oh, is that a tear? So they just drew her with a tear and like left it at that, and then she's always crying. Wow, I can see nipples. Well, you know, I can see nipple pokes. Boop. Wait, I've got to do it. Boop. Kyo, what is it? What happened? I don't know. I've been in the fucking cafeteria. Oh no, I was talking to her. Okay. Do you know what happened to Michelle or? Yeah, it is a tear. Before I could finish my sentence, Kyo cried and flung herself at me, and her tears glistened down her... Why is her top coming off? She wrapped her arms desperately around my frame, pressing her ample chest into me as she... Ample? Ample? Fucking ample? Ridiculous. As she buried her face in my shoulder and began to cry. At first, I could only just stand there startled. But after a few moments, I hugged her back and began gently removing her clothes, patting her shoulder. That's it, Kyo. Yeah, just let it out. Oh, honestly, it was all I could think of to say. I don't know how long we stood there like that. More than minutes and less than an hour. That's all I could be sure of. But as I stood there comforting Kyo, her sobbing slowly subsided as she settled down, her grip relaxing a little. And I thought, finally, blood can come back into my penis. Kenji, I'm sorry. It's alright, look. You know, it's not that big anyway. There's nothing to be sorry for. None of us. In my head, I knew that Kyo was a grown woman. She was a scientist, the medical specialist of Tensai's lab, and I'd seen what she could do in battle. But I also knew that she looked like she was about 16, if 16-year-olds could have boobs the size of my head. But at that moment, my heart didn't see any of this. All I saw was a wounded girl, and I thought, fuck, I can take advantage of this to get my dick inside her. I know, we've been through a lot. Our memories mucked up. Time itself changed, parts of our lives taken apart and rebuilt, and, With this happening on top of all that, I don't think anybody could blame you for, you know, what the things that were your fault. Nodding to this, Kyo swallowed loudly before managing a sad version of her normal giddy smile. Good. Thanks. I'm not even going to comment on that. Thanks, Kenji. Don't mention it. It was nothing. It wasn't nothing to me. Kenji, listen, we think we've figured out what happened to Michelle, so I need you to come to the lab with me. Tensai, he can explain better than I can. Tensai means genius, by the way, in Japanese. Kyo took my hand, and without another word, she led me out of the cafeteria and into the hallway. As she led me back to the time window lab, I wondered what my grandpa and the others had found that could have left her in such a sad state. You can't do this, Tensai. You can't give up on me like this. I never said anything about giving up, Michelle. I just said, fuck you. But for the moment, there's... Tensai? As Kyo's small, quiet voice sounded, Tensai and Michelle both paused to look at us. What's going on? Kyo said you found out what happened? Tensai glanced sternly back at Michelle for a moment before returning his attention to me, sighing. We just finished running diagnostics on the time window to find out what happened, and we've conducted several bioscans of Michelle, as well as repeatedly scanned the temporal fields. It's all shit you won't understand, because you're a small dick loser idiot. I swallowed as I recognised this as one of my grandfather's stall tactics. And what have you found? Well, I'm not sure how well I can explain it to a small dick idiot moron like you. At least, to make it so you can understand what is being said. Ha! Snap! But in summation, when the time window pulled Michelle into it, it essentially trapped her inside a pocket dimension that exists outside of normal time and space, and even outside of the corridors of time that it generates. But at the same time, she's somehow occupying the same fourth dimensional space that corresponds with the time window. Do you see? To put it simply, Kenji, she's straight fucked! Michelle has merged with the time window, hence the ridiculously sized boobs. Everyone knows that time windows have huge tits. Permanently. You don't know that! There's got to be some way. She's right, Tensai, we can't just give up on her. You said it yourself, Michelle's one of your closest friends. You can't leave her like this. We've got to keep. Right? No! Oh! No! I know this may seem harsh to you, and perhaps it is. Okay, so why is the time window wearing this outfit? But for now, at least, I think it's best if we spend some time trying to better understand what just happened, and making some preparations. Preparations? What are you talking about? What kind of preparations? I mean that we have more immediate concerns at the moment. For starters, there's still Mizuki and Bunny. The fact that we lost contact with them when the power surge hit, that worries me. Bunny and that's right! With everything that's happened, we need to try and reach them. See if anything happened to them. Right, let's give it a try and hope that everything's alright on their end. The fuck is happening? As Rose made her way over the time window controls, I realised I hadn't even considered the possibility that Bunny or Mizuki could have suffered something like what happened to Michelle. I pictured them trapped in their own time window, pounding desperately to escape, crying out for help. They had to know someone would never come. Come. Sorry, that was a really sexual sentence. Ugh, something's wrong. I can't raise them. I'm using the right temporal frequency, but they aren't responding. You don't think... No, I don't think any of us are thinking right now. No, I don't think that's the case. Or at the least, there is another possible explanation for them not responding. What do you mean, Tensai? What I mean is that the timeline has clearly changed. Our future has just been altered. And since our future is the past for Bunny and Mizuki... The butterfly effect? I like butterflies. I know you feel that my ideals regarding time travel are outdated, Michelle, but given the circumstances, I'd say you're hardly in a position to deny that tampering with time has some serious consequences. But how does the butterfly effect explain us not being able to contact them? They wouldn't just forget about us, or about me. Me. You're all about me, Michelle, ever since you turned into a time machine, bitch. You think maybe the future's nice now because of what we did? I doubt it'd be that simple to save the entire future, Kyo. It turns out it was that simple to save the entire future. The end. Why not? Maybe we're in a better position to change things for the better now. Excuse me, girls, but I'm afraid that's not what I meant. However, I think it might be best if we discuss this elsewhere, away from the strange hologram woman. Alright then, let's... Ow! Michelle gave us all a reminder that she was essentially a prisoner of the time window, trapped in a cage that had no walls, yet was apparently inescapable. But as we all looked at Michelle's despairing expression, Kyo somehow managed to force one of her bubbly smiles into place. Nah! Ah, don't worry, Michelle. We'll be back just as soon as we're done talking about stuff, probably things. And then, I could bring my portable DVD player here. We could watch a movie. You know, that one with all the ladies and the licking that we really like to watch together? And then maybe sparks can fly between us and I'll take off my top? Huh? Oh yeah, sure. Why not? I couldn't blame Michelle for her half-hearted smile. She was only partly lesbian. But the fact that the girls were trying to keep each other's spirits up heartened me. After pausing just long enough to smile for Michelle's benefit, I joined the others and left the time window room. Oh, we're back. Why are we now going to the cafeteria? We could go anywhere. We followed Tensai to the cafeteria in relative silence and watched as he sighed and sat down. Following his lead, we sat down and looked hard at him. But just as he opened his mouth to speak, Rose scowled and spoke first. Ah! Why are you treating Michelle this way? I beg your pardon? Tensai, I understand you're angry with Michelle. Yes, I'm angry that she ignored every warning I gave her about the dangers of tampering with time, and that she placed all of you in danger as well. But that said, we still have more immediate concerns to address. Like what? What could be more important than helping Michelle? I'm worried about the impact that Michelle's predicament will have on the future. On Mizuki and Bunny, to be precise, they have even bigger tits. How so? I'm not sure. Not yet. However, one thing we can be sure of is that they still have their own agenda. Despite what happened to Michelle, they are bound to keep trying to change their future regardless of the consequences. We need to be ready to deal with them, and right now we are far from ready. Because of what happened? Exactly. We don't know how Michelle's merging with the time window will impact its performance. I wouldn't be surprised if time had made it so that her condition would make the time window unusable. It'd be the perfect way to kill two problems with one stone. There you go again, acting like time is some thinking being that was out to get us. As I said, I have no idea what time is anymore, but that's beside the point. In addition to checking the time window, we're going to need someone to take Michelle's place as our commander and operations manager. I wonder who it should be. I was honestly getting upset about how blasé my grandfather was being to someone he had called a friend. Look, I don't agree with everything Michelle did, and I don't like some of her methods, but you can't deny that she had good tits. Oh, I don't deny that at all. I know she had good tits, Kenji. The same way I'm sure the military had good tits when they took the work of leading scientists in the field of atomic energy and turned that into a weapon of mass destruction. I'm sure they had only the best of intentions for the world. And now Michelle too will have huge rockets. Have to live with the result of her good tits. Kenji, please go home. There's nothing you can do to help us here, and there is a great deal of work we have to get done. I was stunned by how flat and worn my grandfather sounded, but forced to admit that I had no skills to offer and that would be of use. I just nodded. Also, I think it's best if you stayed there until I call for you. Besides, you're still living with the memory of the fire and everything else, so I think it would be good if you made up for lost time, as it were. Grandpa was just trying to get me out of his way, but I agreed with him that I hadn't masturbated in a little while, so I should probably go home. To stay that way until he was finished doing whatever it was he felt needed to be done. Even in my current state, it wasn't hard to figure out that much. But as I sat there thinking of what had just happened and all the rest of it, I found I didn't just have it in me to try and argue against his thinly disguised order. Oh, alright, I guess. I sighed and rose to my feet. Looking at the others, I smiled fondly at the two girls there. Rose, Kyo, you take care, okay? And tell Michelle not to give up. We will. Hope to see you soon, Kenji. Yeah, hope to see you both soon too. I sighed before slowly making my way out of the cafeteria, not knowing what time it was and not caring. All I knew was that nothing would be the same after today. Later, in the time window room... we're going to need to make some serious... how do we... Okay, just quick save. We're going to need to make some serious changes around here. What do you mean, Tensai? We need to do more than simply test and see if the time window is still usable. We've been far too lax about safety protocols. Ah, are you kidding? Right from the start, you've been the one arguing for playing it safe and taking every possible precaution and all the rest of it. Yes, but it obviously wasn't enough. Your current condition is proof of that. As is the incident where Kenji was accidentally knocked into the time window. Now hold on, that was an accident. Something went haywire when... Yes, so you've said. But you've said a great many things, Michelle, and all of them are bullshit. I'm the scientist, I'm the man. You just be quiet and keep jumping up and down. Yes, good. Keep... Yeah, just like that. Lovely. Or only some of which have been true. But I have no reason to lie to you or anyone else. You all know about me and what I've been doing. Why would I lie to you about something like this? And besides, you know I'd never risk Kenji's life like that, or anybody else's. ... Perhaps not knowingly, but I think we've already established that you have far less respect for the forces we're tampering with here than I do. And your definition of what is and what isn't dangerous clearly isn't the same as mine, bitch. However, that is neither here nor there. The point is that we clearly need to implement new safety equipment to prevent similar accidents from happening in the future, and we still need to... Before Tensai could finish his sentence, Rose entered the time window room, carrying a tray stacked with muffins and a pitcher of lemonade and several glasses. Sorry to take so long, everyone, but since we're going to be working late today, I thought I should bring some refreshments. That's great, Rose. Do they have the same strap? Do they have the same strap across their boobs? Oh, great, thanks. Thank you, Rose, but be sure not to spill anything on the equipment. I think we've had enough going wrong for one day. Yeah, safety, right? And then it's like, oh, just be sure not to spill. Carefully setting the tray down, Rose poured lemonade into each of the glasses and put a blueberry muffin on a small plate before passing them out. Here you go, Kyo. Thanks, Rose. And this is for you, Tensai. Thank you, my dear. And of course I didn't forget about you, Michelle. I know you wouldn't, thanks. Michelle reached towards the glass and muffin, only for her hands to pass completely through both of them without any resistance. Huh? Once again, Michelle tried to take the food and drink in her hands, but her intangible form passed straight through them, like they were mere illusions. What in the... Tensai, Michelle, she can't... So I see. Michelle's physical form is clearly out of phase with our third-dimensional plane of existence. She's not physically here, so she can't physically interact with us. At least, not enough to hold physical objects. So, like, the person we're playing, the character we're playing, who's the narrator, was sent home, correct? So what we have here is something that he's not viewing, we're not really probably supposed to see, and there's no narrator anymore. There's no, like, first-person perspective, as it were. Huh? But wait a sec, if Michelle's trapped outside of time, and she can't eat or drink or anything like that, then I think we'd better get back to work. Immediately. Right. Yeah. And don't worry, Michelle, we'll figure something out. Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. Everyone in the time window set aside their food and drink and went to work, leaving Michelle helpless to do anything but stand there, watching as her fate was left in the hands of others. Well, really, a week? Okay, so let's yeah, sure. Let's finish this episode here, because we're almost on 30 minutes. Man, I love this game. It is that it's not as bad as a couple of, maybe because of the last one, but like the story's ridiculous and shit, and the fact that there's just big boobs flopping all over the place, you know, I love. It kind of softens the blow a bit compared with the other one, whatever it was called, Sinful Eden. Sinful Eden was fucking atrocious, though, to be fair. However, it is a fact that I do not care what's happening. I don't particularly want to carry on. I would be perfectly happy to go off and play other games. So, if you want me to keep playing, don't forget, you have to click that like button, pretty much. I'm not going to be devastated if I have to keep going, although I'm sure it will slowly eat at my soul as I have to do more of this. So, yeah, there you go, guys. If you want me to keep playing, make me. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, you know, other stuff as well. It all really helps. Oh man, this has fried my brain. There's too much big tits going on. And I'll see you in the next one.